All right, welcome everybody back to another episode of the Big Douglas Show. Let's see, guest today, Greg Curl. Greg, how are you today?
Man, I'm great, man. Great. Beautiful day.
First time on the show. We appreciate you
Yeah.
hopping on with us.
Hey,
Plan
thanks
on
for
having a
having me.
good time today. Absolutely. And you know who he is. George Carmi joins us today. George, what's happening?
Good, man. How you guys doing today? You guys doing all right?
Oh yeah.
Doing good. It's an all beard affair today, so we're definitely
Yeah.
doing good.
100%. I keep it
Uh,
clean. I keep it clean. I
George,
got
George, you're a little lucky. You don't have too many grays
Yeah,
in
yeah.
yours yet.
not yet, not yet. I know. I'll be all right.
Greg, happy belated birthday to you, sir.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Are you a big birthday guy?
Uh Not really. I usually just go with the flow. Whatever they do, and I don't really plan on nothing big, I missed the big one, because I turned 51 this year. I should have did something big last year for the 50, but hey, it is what it is.
It's not
That's
too
right.
late.
Yeah, yeah.
You'll have to do a big one on 55 then.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I might do a late one. It all depends on what Ron
Right
and
there.
do, with this contract situation.
Here we go. Here we go. Let's see. We'll get to all the things football. I
Yeah.
wanted to start out. I sent you guys a list of things that we might get to today. One of them, I don't know about you guys, but I find myself falling down these TikTok rabbit holes. And I sent you on the top of the list for today. It says Cleopatra and the iPhone. And I sent this. I found this interesting. The way we see time and understand time. You know that Cleopatra is closer to having an iPhone than she was to being there when they built the Great Pyramids.
Wow. Okay. I had no
Wow.
idea.
Think about that for a second.
Wow.
Closer in time to having an iPhone than being there when they built the Great Pyramids. Blew my mind this morning.
Wow.
Yeah, that's interesting.
That is. Never thought about it. That's a long time.
It is a long time.
Yeah, we think about her in like this, in this old Egyptian way, but really she was there like with the great Greeks and Romans. So I don't
Yeah.
know, it's just time. Like we would like my understanding of the American country. I was telling Greg before we got started. Past Tennessee, I start getting lost with the states, and I'm the
All the
same way
squares
with
out there, right?
time.
Yeah. They're all shaped the same way. Exactly right. I can see that.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Because Greg was saying it's like 17, 18 hours from where he's at in Oklahoma to
Mm.
DC, but like 3 hours to Dallas.
Mm.
And
Yeah.
I always get confused out there.
There are a lot of Cowboy fans in Oklahoma, right, Greg?
Oh man,
I'm
yeah.
about to say you're in
Unfortunately.
Cowboy country,
Unfortunately.
right?
Yeah, it is cowboy country. Man.
Okay.
Cowboy country. That's the only reason Oklahoma don't have a football team. Jerry Jones be fighting it because he get all the money from Oklahoma. All these Cowboy fans out
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. Makes sense.
here.
For those that don't know, Greg is the dad of Commander Safety Cam Curl, which is why you see that same last name there. Did you guys have a team before Cam got to the Commanders?
Yeah, growing up, we were rivals. Because when I was in the Navy, I lived in San Diego. I became a San Diego Chargers fan, and he grew up a Raiders fan. I don't think he might have had CTE at a young age or something. I don't know why he's a Raiders fan. But yeah, so we was in the house rivals, in on the NFL, but we both rooted for OU, college team.
He was a little bit younger though for the Raiders. Who really stood out for them at that time? It wasn't Bo Jackson or anything, right? It was definitely
Yeah.
It wasn't at that point. Yeah.
I don't know why. Like I said, I have no idea why he was a Raiders fan.
Okay. By the colors. Yeah.
Yeah.
Dion made waves this week by his comments. Greg, I'm curious your thoughts on what Dion had to say about the different attitudes and requirements for scouting the positions of quarterback and defensive end. Where do you stand on what he said? Because it's gotten a lot of mixed. I've seen a lot of mixed opinions on this week.
I mean, I really don't have an opinion on it because I mean, his way might work, So I really don't have an opinion on it on what he said and his comments. And I only looked at it briefly. I really didn't dig into it and look at the comments and what other people said. I saw it and I just moved on. Didn't put a lot of thought into it, to be honest.
Yeah, right on. George, did you see it? I sent you the link for that.
Yeah, I did see it. It was interesting. I don't know. I'm actually curious what you think too, Greg. So with Dion, how do you feel about him as a coach? Like for me, I kind of like what he's doing. I feel like he's building the program. He's bringing notoriety to his school.
Yeah.
He's building up the HBCUs. I kind of like what he's doing in regard to that. He's kind of outlandish. Maybe he shouldn't be saying some of the things that he does, but that's just his brand. He's always been that way. He's always been building up the program that way. So how do you feel about Dion? Do you view him in a positive light? Mr. Curl, how do you feel?
I mean, yeah. If Cameron was still in high school and he was recruiting, he would be a coach that we would definitely want to go see and talk to.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, because you want to play with somebody that has the experience on every level. He knows what's going on. And as a parent, I kind of like that because he ain't gonna let stuff slide or get by him. He know what they talking about. He's been in the locker room and all that. He put together a winning team at the HBCU. I think he can do the same thing at Colorado. Who he is helps him in recruiting. Just who he is and
he's a big personality, right? He walks in that family room, he's going to sell you on anything, right?
He gonna sell you. So I think he can build a program. And he's smart. Dion, if you watch Dion, he knows that he's a coach, but he knows his success is the people he put around him, the other coaches. You know what I'm saying? So he's kind of smart. So he knows what his weaknesses are. He try to get strong coaches in those points of his coaching weakness. That's what I noticed what he did at the HBCU. And I'm watching to see how he really puts his whole staff together here in Colorado.
Yeah, I feel that.
How many visits did Cam take before he settled on Arkansas?
Yeah, I was wondering about that.
We took 4. He didn't take all of them. We went to see TCU, Nebraska, Baylor, and Arkansas. Yeah, those were the 4. We were going to take the Miami trip just to go to Miami.
Why not, right? Yeah. Go down, enjoy the weather.
We was going to go to Miami, but then they had a coaching change and stuff was taking too long. And Cameron was like, I'm tired. I'm done. We've been trying. I mean, a lot of people, it looks fun from the outside. That stuff is tiring.
Travel and stressing.
Yeah, you leaving early in the morning. It depends on where you go. I mean, they have car service pick you up at 4 o'clock in the morning. And then when you get there, you get off the plane. It's just go till 10, 11 o'clock at night. And then the next day is the same thing. And then you on the plane, come back home. And you got to go to work and then get ready for next week. And so Cam was like, hey, we ain't got to take another visit. I'm done. I'm going to make up my mind. Let's just go.
It's coming up on the combine, Greg. What do you remember of his combine experience? Did you go with him, or you just heard from him secondarily?
His agent stayed in contact with us because it was the COVID year,
so
nobody could go and everything. So everything was kind of new. Nobody knew how to handle it. So what happened was his agent just stayed on the phone with us and let us know each event and how he was doing. And then he would call us. And I'm going to tell you, man, it was so crazy because he was so excited when he did the bench press. He got the highest out of the DBs. I think it was 24 or something. He called and told us about that. And he was so excited about that because a lot of people don't know when Cameron went to the combine, he ran his 40. He had a strained hip flexor.
Oh wow!
I told him not to run, but
run.
wait to pro day. But he wanted to run. He wanted to run, and even at pro day, I think it kind of messed him up because Arkansas's pro day was kind of real close to the combine. So when he ran again, he was still kind of sore. He could run on it, but he was sore, so he wasn't 100% on that. But I guess it everything worked out the way it's supposed to be.
Well, as Commanders fans, we certainly think so. I know that. What do you think he would have run? Because I think a lot of people don't realize that it was the time really that set him back in
Yeah.
the draft, right? I'm curious what his agent kind of hit, though, where y'all thought maybe the range was, and do you think if he'd have gotten, where do you think he went range wise if he was close to that 4.5? I looked at it, was like I think he ran like a 4.6.
Yeah, he ran like a 4.59 and a 4.6. We was, he was in training the whole time before the combine. He was running like a 4.49, a 4.51, between those numbers, and he was feeling really good up until that. And then I don't know if it was the weather or what, but he was saying his hip flexor was a little tight and everything. But it was an injury he had in Arkansas too. But he thought he had worked it out, but it was still a little tight. And where he would have went, I don't know, because we thought he was going to go in the 4th round. We got a phone call saying that a team was liking him in the 4th round. Y'all would have really hated that, but they end up taking the center in the 4th round because they wasn't expecting him to still be on the board. They thought he was going to be taken, so their next option was Cam. But if he would have ran like a 4.49 or a 4.5, I think he would have went in maybe the 3rd or 4th round. Maybe.
And
I
Coach,
mean, easily one of the biggest steals of the draft. I mean,
yeah.
You don't have to agree. I know you will, but I'll say it for you. I mean, it's quite obvious.
Yeah.
Hey, Coach, just curious, how, like, going into the draft and going into the combine, how much time do you have to kind of allot to training in regard to that? Has it been like a month or two before the combine, or even more than that, or how deep is it, and how often is it?
It's constant. For Cam, it was the moment he made the decision to declare for the draft. It was like, it's time to go to work. I declared for the draft. Let me hire my agents. I think he took 3 weeks off
from the season.
And, from the college season, and then got everything together once he hired his agents and everything, and got picked out where he's going to do his training, and he was gone working out. Then to the combine, back to training, working out, then pro day, and back to training until the draft. Till draft, it was nonstop, and it's something about he gets in the mode when it's like that, because the same thing happened in high school his senior year. Once he picked Arkansas, and he was like, "Man, I'm going to the SEC," because he was running track, and they 4x100 team was picked to win state, because they went to state his junior year, and he dropped out of track. And his coach was like, "Why?" He's like, "Coach, I got to put on some muscle. I'm playing. I got to tackle these big SEC dudes. I got to go to work." And he started working out, until it was time to show up in Arkansas. He just tried to be ready.
The work ethic. I love that.
Yeah.
Cool.
Well, it's also a great point that I think a lot of people don't realize is how important it is, and to like kind of retrain, reshape your body for different things that are required. I'll never forget, I had a buddy of mine in high school that got drafted to play offensive line by the Cowboys, and he came back, and this guy was like, he's bench pressing like 400 and squatting 750, and he had like a 38-inch waist. Right? And I was like, what's going on? It was a Virginia Tech guy. And when he got to Dallas, the first thing they did was told him, go home and don't come back until you're like a 48-inch waist, because you just need the padding to get beat on for that long. Like, we don't need Adonis's on the offensive line. I always thought that was crazy, right? Like, come back.
That is funny.
Yeah. So I always thought that was interesting. All right, fellas. Twitter question of the day on the Big Doug page was wide receivers. All right. So rank these 4 wide receivers: Jerry Rice, Randy Moss, Calvin Johnson, and Terrell Owens. George, let's start. That's fine. George, go ahead.
Whatever. Okay, so I'll start off, I guess. So for me, Jerry Rice is the GOAT, man. I think he's the greatest football player of all time. It's hard for me because Randy Moss is legitimately one of my favorite players of all. Like, it's Randy Moss, Barry Sanders, Sean Taylor, my 3 favorite players in all football, right? So it's hard for me to have him at number 2. But Jerry Rice was dominant. Like, I actually was looking this up because I saw your status, Doug. He was 40 years old and he had 1,200 yards and 7 touchdowns. Jerry Rice, he's the GOAT, man. He's that fabled running up the hills, working hard in San Francisco. That's who he is. He was just doing it, man, for years, consistency. Then it's Randy Moss. Randy Moss, I think, is the best athlete to ever play the wide receiver position. If you guys look at him at West Virginia, he was all-state track, all-state basketball, all-state football. That guy is a beast, man. He's amazing. He basically put up crazy numbers. Once he had a legit quarterback in Brady, breaking records in New England. So Randy Moss is the best. Then this gets tricky, man. So Terrell Owens, he's a head case, man. I'm sorry, Mr. Curl, if that offends you. He's got a head case, but he put up numbers, man. So Terrell Owens put up numbers, and they're
Big
just toe to toe with Randy Moss. So like, I'm all about production, so I'll put Terrell Owens there. But then Calvin Johnson, last but not least. I mean, I put him at number 4, but Calvin Johnson, dude, he was amazing. The only thing is he only played for 8 years, and what I'll say is that, like, with Calvin Johnson, with Detroit kills me because they had Barry Sanders and Calvin Johnson, and both of their careers ended short because of Detroit, man. So we could have seen a lot more from them. So that's the way I go. But I'm curious what you guys think. What do you guys think?
Definitely. I mean, like you said, Jerry Rice got to be number 1. Jerry Rice.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the only thing I'm being a little different. I don't know. I think I'm a little bit more of a T.O. fan than the Randy Moss.
Okay.
Only. He's just edging him out just a little bit. I like T.O., but I mean, it's just hard, just like you said. I mean, they both are, great freaking Hall of Fame wide receivers. I just like T.O. just a little bit more of a Randy Moss than Calvin Johnson. Like you said, it just seemed like his career just was so quick. Mm-hmm. It just seemed like, it seemed like when he was gone, it was like, what happened? What happened? He gone? When did he leave? But when he came out, I mean, the dude earned the name Megatron.
Yeah.
Who's go? He was long, strong, and could catch, man. So, yeah, that'll be my top 4 right there.
It's interesting because I checked the comments and T.O. gets no love, and I had a feeling that's what was going to happen, just because I think he's hard to root for. But the numbers are incredible, and the thing for Rice for me is, and people get real angry when you say this,
it's quarterbacks.
It's like the LeBron thing, right? Like, Jerry Rice played forever, so of course his number is going to be high.
That's true.
I think if you look just at strictly a talent, physical tools, like, Jerry's kind of low on the list for me.
Yeah.
Like Calvin Johnson was built in a lab, right? Like 6'4" and had like a 44-inch vertical. He just caught everything. To me, he reminds me so much of Travis Kelce in a way. Like, everybody knew Calvin Johnson was the only option, and he still got the ball, and he still beat you. And really, I mean, as far as I'm concerned, Randy Moss is the greatest receiver to play the game. That's who I have at 1 personally. I guess I'll put Jerry Rice at 2 simply because of the numbers. It would be disrespectful not to put him at 2. Then I've got Terrell Owens and then Calvin Johnson. And if Calvin Johnson had done even, say, 13 years, the numbers show they would have been
blown everyone out.
Spectacular.
Exactly right. Mm-hmm.
Greg, I'm curious. One of the notes I left for you guys is I am a huge Jeremy Reeves homer. Why is it that we can't get him on the field more? I don't get it. I mean, I know they're very happy with Forrest, and I know why they drafted him, and I knew they thought they got a steal with him as well. But Jeremy Reeves is a guy, to me, when he gets on the field, all he does is produce, and yet he finds it impossible to find himself on the field.
Let me tell you, I'm in that same club with you. I am a huge Jeremy Reeves fan. I mean, that dude, I teared up when he got selected for the Pro Bowl like it was my own son.
It's good. It's a great video. It was awesome.
I met the kid several times, the young man several times. I talked to him. He has a great personality and everything. Met his pops and everything. He's a great kid. It's just his work ethic and his mentality about the whole situation just blows me away. He gets it. As a coach, he's the kind of kid you wish every kid mentality was that way. Just because it's hard, just because it's not going the way you want it to go, just because it didn't go the way you expected it, he still kept working. He still keeps the upbeat attitude. He still keeps going, and he still keeps going hard. That is that's one reason he's still here. And I think, they're gonna figure it out. They're gonna figure out to find a way to get him more involved, with everybody else.
Did you notice that Bobby McCain apparently got cut right before we got started here? Which
I didn't see that. Wow.
Maybe would leave some more snaps for Reeves if they want, or
maybe
more work.
Yeah, I didn't see that either. Wow.
I saw it literally like 5 minutes before we got started.
Oh,
here.
Okay.
Or maybe more work for Cam in the nickel. Does he have a preference?
Nah. His only preference is on the field. Put me in. I want to be on the field. I think he ain't never said it, but just knowing him and watching him, I really think he loves covering tight ends though. Cameron likes competition, and he's gonna fight. He's gonna want somebody to fight back. He's gonna want them to talk noise to him, and I think he really likes when he's put up against those tight ends. So, yeah.
Hey, Coach, has Cam shared anything about like who he enjoys playing with, or does he have a special chemistry with Derek Forrest or Bobby McCain or anything in that regard? Reeves, like who is he particularly close with, and who does he find good chemistry with? Has he said anything like that to you?
No, not particularly. I remember before the season started, he was talking. We were talking. He was telling me about Derek Forrest. About how he was coming along with the playbook and smart. And Cameron was like, man, he said, I think he's gonna be pretty good. I think he gonna bust out. He always talked about like Jeremy, because I think that was one of the first people he met when he got to Washington. I think that's who he went when he went to go get his place when he first got there. So, and Jeremy, was one of the guys that brought him in and talked to him and taught him a lot of stuff. And I know they're real close, but he loved. I think the only person he really talked about playing with back there is Landon, and who left, because he really gelled with Landon Collins, and I think because Landon was teaching him so much.
Yeah. Landon's a good leader, from what I understand. Right, I heard really good things from him from Alabama, from what I get. Yeah, okay, makes sense.
Are you guys watching the XFL? Do you love football enough that you now transition to the XFL?
I do. I watch it. A couple of Cameron's college teammates play XFL. Matter of fact, they play for the DC Defenders.
Okay.
So I've been watching it. Hey, I'm a football fan. Heck, I watch. If they play 7-on-7 on TV, I'm gonna watch that. I like watching football, so I watch the XFL, the USFL. To see some potential guys that might make it to the NFL, and I follow guys that may have coached or I know Karen played with, so I watch them play too.
It's incredible how the 7-on-7 has just totally transformed the way we prepare for football, the way the game's played. Just amazing. And I think it's why I was talking to somebody about this the other day. I think it's why you see so many wide receivers come so prepared to play right away, right?
Yeah. And DBs.
And DBs,
yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
And not to mention just the way that the offense has, we play the game to score points now, which leads me to the next one. Thank goodness EB is in town, because I don't know if you'd have seen this, George. John Keim was on with Kevin Sheehan the other day.
Okay.
Since 2000.
I did see this. Go ahead.
The Redskins, Commanders, Washington football team, whatever iteration it was, have averaged over 20 points a game for a season just 5 times.
Trust me, I know.
Just 5
I've seen
times.
It. Yeah.
Imagine if what the defense would look like if they ever got a chance to play with a lead sometime and actually be aggressive. So hopefully the enemy will change that because the poverty offense has just been horrible.
I'm excited. I think the enemy has that attitude that we need, right? I think, our defense has that swagger, that confidence that they want to hit. They bring that energy. Our offensive players are very, very talented, but they're like good guys. I want someone that's kind of a little bit dirty, a little bit nasty. And I think the enemy is going to bring that to the team, and he has that energy. And he was already saying that and kind of transmitting that to the team a lot. So I like that a lot. And I saw Cam sit in front row at the press conference, and it's the team seems to be buying into him. So did Cam talk to you about that at all, Mr. Curl? Like, how did he feel about is he confident with the enemy? How did you feel about that? Good for first impressions.
I mean, yeah. Oh, yeah. He was excited. I mean, to have somebody that's coming in that's going to be in the locker room fresh off a championship.
Yeah.
That knows how to win. Yeah. So Cam was excited. That's why he was there to show his support. Even he played defense. I'm excited. I mean, I know a lot. I see a lot of stuff on Twitter. A lot of people talking. A lot of YouTube talking about all these free agent quarterbacks and stuff. The B enemy and Sam Howell combination excites me. I'm not saying Sam Howell is Patrick Mahomes, but I think Sam Howell is the type of quarterback that the enemy uses in his offenses and it makes it work. And I'm excited about that combo, and I'm hoping Sam Howell pans out because he has that he got the look. I call it like the Clark Kent Superman look.
Yeah, I can see that.
He looks like a clean cut kid, but he's out there, dude. He got that grind. I mean, he's gonna lower his shoulder and say, "Hey, I'm gonna get this 1 yard. I'm gonna run. I ain't scared to get hit. I'm gonna do this." And he can sling the ball too. It's like Heineke with a stronger arm, almost. With a little bit more polished. I'll say a little bit more polished. Because he got that blue collar workout, and he gets excited, and the guys got excited. Just like I think it was when he played that last game. A lot of the guys were saying the energy was almost the same as like having Heineke in the game. So.
What I like about Howell and Bieniemy starting off together is basically they're going to develop together, right? And I think being a young quarterback as well, like I heard Logan Paulson, I view very highly of him. He said younger players they can take harder coaching because they don't know any better, right? They'll walk into the NFL and they're not a veteran where they'll be like, oh, I'm not going to listen to this guy or I'm going to talk back to them. They don't know any better. They view the NFL as a professional business, right? So I think Howell's going to eat up everything Bieniemy says and give it his best shot. So I'm really excited about that. I think there's some upside there. I'm really excited. It'll be great.
As a coach, I can vouch for that because when you coach little kids, you can tell them run through that brick wall. They're going to go as fast as they can. By the time they get to high school, they know everything. You try to tell them something, and I'm like, oh my God, them the ones. So I understand that you get a veteran quarterback. He knows everything. It might not take everything like a young guy gonna soak everything in and try to
up.
And
try to play first career.
And try to impress the coach. I'm gonna soak everything up, and I'm gonna try to show the coach I know what he's doing, and and I'm gonna be good. Don't have that attitude. I'm not saying all veterans have that attitude. They can.
Mm-hmm.
George, did you notice that Bieniemy thanked everybody but the Snyders?
I did notice that. I definitely noticed that. I think that was intentional. I think the NFL is trying to, don't want to get too off the beaten path, but I think the NFL wants to kind of walk away from Snyder's a little bit, not necessarily promote that too much, and kind of have a little transition into pivot points. I definitely noticed that, and he wasn't there. And Snyder wasn't there at the conference. He wasn't shaking hands and wasn't taking any photos, and he wasn't there the last game of the season too. So I definitely think there is a transition in effect, and we'll see if it all shakes out.
Greg, have you met the Snyders?
Nah.
Yeah.
I haven't really met anybody on the staff except for Coach Harris.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Do you go out to DC often, Coach, or no?
No, not often. I mean, well, I go to the Cam's house in Virginia, but like when I go to the games, like some of the coaches come out after, and I got to meet Coach Harris before he left, and there was another DB coach, I forgot his name, but I met him, but that was about it.
Okay.
Yeah, it sounds like they're going to replace Harris from within, but I haven't heard yet.
Nothing official yet.
Yeah.
Well, I just saw something right before we came on that the running back coach from Kansas City supposed to be meeting with Washington today.
Oh, okay. I didn't see that.
Interesting. Yeah.
That's
Yeah, well,
great.
he's got full control. It's interesting. I'm so interested to see how this offseason with the ownership stuff goes, because right now Dan's still writing the checks.
Yeah.
Right. And they told Bieniemy that he's got free range to do whatever he wants. and so far he's doing it. It's I don't know. I think it's all fascinating. I think that's it. I think that's what I had on my list. This was great. Yeah, I appreciate you guys coming. This was a lot of fun today.
Oh yeah, I enjoyed it, man. Anytime.
Cool. Thank you, Big Doug. I appreciate it, man.
Yeah, man. Appreciate you guys. Thanks.
All right, have a good one.
I take a Curl.